There was a quote that said, "The one who's wiser gives up in a clash when it comes to disagreeing with others," right? When it comes to confronting others, the wiser one gives up because they know it is not worth it. See, I have observed this and compared it to many people's behaviors, especially the ones that are more primitive minded. See, this is a very weird, probably it used to go back in the times, but nowadays I assure you it doesn't work. And observing how ignorance functions within people and their behavioral patterns, the wiser one does not give up against fools because the wiser one needs to find better arguments without sounding condescending or without provoking, even if nowadays kind of everything feels challenging and provoking specifically for many people. Yes, especially for fools, for primitive minded people. Yes, because the point is they're making you feel wiser by giving up, but giving up makes a precedent action. Yes, a precedent means something has happened before, so it can be leveraged yet again. Yes, if someone sees that you give up once, they will obviously tease you into giving up yet again. And then this is how they assert their control over you. It is a very silent control, but it can be very effective when you think about the fact that you're meant to think that you're wiser. Maybe you are actually wiser that you choose not to argue with some people. But the way fools function, if you give up your arguments enough times, they will get comfort in that. Because your job as a wiser person is not to dissuade them, but to offer a different example. Your purpose is not to save others. Your purpose is not to convince them necessarily of their wrongdoings or of their simplicity of awareness being damaging to them. Your purpose is to be you who you are. And through that, if possible, show them an example of how things can be done in another way, not necessarily in a better way. When I explain things to others, I present them as a point of view. I do not present them as a challenge to their own egos, because primitive minded people are obviously ego driven. And ego driven people, they will always be defensive, they will always be reactive, they will always want to challenge you because they haven't had any fun in a long time. And they love seeing how much you simply act and react. The very simple point is they are also reminders in the end that you shouldn't attach to your own ideas too much. That is why most of these people cannot trigger me, cannot challenge me with their simplicity of design, because I do not attach myself too much to something. Whether they disagree with my points of view, that doesn't matter to me at all. Because in the end, why would it matter? It is just a simple complex. It is just a bit of information that you will lose regardless when you leave this physical body. It's not going to make any use to you beyond this current lifetime. The karma that you can make out of arguing with fools can haunt you in future lifetimes as well, because it can make you reactive. Don't forget, fools, when they ask you something, especially those instant questions, that come suddenly out of the blue, they never ask those questions without having rehearsed their answers hundreds, if not thousands of times. And many times they ask you because they know that you will think otherwise, and they already have rehearsed thousands of times their thousands of possible answers to your points of view. If you want to break those fuckers, just agree to them and move on. Because just agreeing to them, well, it simply disarms all their effort. It's like they have readied up all their long range artillery missiles to destroy you, but you simply sit right within them. And it's like, okay, you want to destroy me with your mass destruction weapons? Sure. I'll just sit here and you'll destroy both of us regardless. I don't have anything to lose. Yes? It's like a big middle finger in their face. And, this is how life is. You don't have to give up every fucking time, because every time you give up, you simply bury a potential means through which you could have discovered something better within yourself. Because everyone wakes up in their own pace, everyone wakes up at their own time. And in the end, well, that is how life is. When you tell people things beyond their level of awareness, beyond their readiness, they will simply discard it or they will laugh in your face. I assure you I've got enough experience in that. And most certainly you also may have. We all know those people whom the most obvious things for everyone, they will do the opposite and they will still complain that things are against them and such. You dare explain them one day how else they can do that. You have unleashed hell upon you. I'm sure you've already known people like that in your life. At least one example may pop into your mind, yes? So giving up a challenge is not necessarily a point because you will be taken for a fool by the fools. You will be taken as an easy target. Yes, you will be taken by someone who can be shit on. So just present your standpoints. Yes, you don't have to challenge them. You don't have to fight and swear and curse like them. Just show them that you present something, a standpoint. And in the end, if they think otherwise, just tell them, does it actually make any difference in the large scale of the cosmos or at a political level? And they will probably start arguing you with also many other things. And then just ask them, what is your power in this? Do you have any power in this? Just by supporting something, it doesn't mean it will survive. How many memes, how many artists, how many things have been promoted throughout the time in society? How many of those are still there nowadays? Yes? You don't have to actually argue such things with people because you're gonna get uncomfortable. Some people may get aggressive if you become uncomfortable for them. But in the end, it's just a point to show them that you draw your line. They are free to believe whatever they want, and you believe whatever you want. Yes. At times, it is just better to simply fend these people off and hold a straight line because, in the end, people will always derive things to religion or to politics or to something if they deliberately want to challenge you, to trigger you more specifically. Because the only reason why people would seek to trigger you is not just control, but to vampirize on some of your energy. Yes, most of these people are reactive, so definitely they are brainwashed. Because only brainwashed people are reactive. If you just believe on something, it doesn't matter whether others believe it or not. Yes, it's just like those few religious people who can do their own thing regarding of what religion they have, regarding of what neighbors they have and what religion they have. It doesn't matter whether others pray in a different language or have different, let's say, rituals or whatever. They are just neighbors, friends, or whatever closeness they have. Yes. So life is about simplicity of design. Do not engage in these people because they usually will come well prepared. And their well preparedness is only one thing: how resilient they can be in supporting their own standpoints with as much stupidity and as much delusions as ever, because they always hope to disarm your logics with their stupidity. Or if they cannot disarm your logics, to at least piss you off emotionally. When you show them that your domains, your sanctuaries are not to be crossed by other points of view, they will definitely call you a narcissist, right? They will ask you 2 or 3 questions because they'll definitely not have more patience than that. And then they will act as if they have already known you. Yes, they have read everything that there is about you in this whole cosmos just by 3 worthless little questions that aren't worthy even as 1% and their own value. Yes, let alone as you, who are much likely to be different than them and far more aware than them. Because there's not much awareness in people who choose to be, or well, who are fully brainwashed. Yes, you have to be a fool to consider that you have understood someone with just 2, 3, 4, 5 questions, when most likely very few people in this world know what they are. When you're using so many personas each and every day, ask yourself, what is it that you truly are? Beyond those masks, beyond those behaviors that you have to exhibit, probably even to each and every fucking person in your life. Because you're going to act one way towards a certain teacher, towards another teacher you will behave in a different way, towards a significant other you will behave in a different way, towards your parents, towards your coworkers, towards everyone in your life. You probably already have 1 or 2 potential personas. So in the end, who are you in all that jumbled mess? Yes. So don't tell me you can actually read someone with just 2 or 3 questions. Not even psychiatrists can, yes? Psychiatrists can observe the patterns of your behavior and can observe those things which society calls as broken or, well, misfitting of what may be considered during each generation's time as acceptable or unacceptable. And that is all. Your behavior is just a bit of the whole being that you are, of the multiple layers of existence that you are. And that is not something a psychiatrist or a psychologist will know. But occultist masters, people who have mastered spirituality, may. Yes, those would be people whom you should follow, but that's for another video. So hopefully this video raised a bit of awareness. You are appreciated, take care, enjoy life. And well, this being said, Ferinjan Board signing out.